I had to unlearn that hustling and extending myself beyond my reserves was a formula for success. I had to unlearn that,
Mm,
and I'm still unlearning.
yeah.
I grew up in a family that has had to work incredibly hard, long hours for generations to have access to
Mm,
education. And we can go into the history of the United States and why that is. That is a reality for many communities who have been historically marginalized. I'm a Black woman, but we don't have to because it's very apparent and very clear, the learning, the trajectories of most Black folk in this country and how we got on the path to learning and education and access to such. So I grew up watching so many folks just work very hard to earn their living, and that was instilled within me through that practice of being around people who had to do the same thing. And no matter their health complications or
mm,
experiences on the job, in school, you had to persist because that was the only way.
yeah.
And once I became of age, so I would say mid to late 20s, I was in school at night, working full time. And I was at the helm of some very serious community organizing advocacy work for and with Baltimore's families to generate and secure funding for capital building improvements and for curriculum resources across the city. And that took a lot of work with over 3,000 people. I was running a coalition at the time during the day and going to school at night. And law school's no joke.
Yeah.
It's no joke full time. It's no joke in the evening. Like they call it part time. It was not. It was for 4 years every night I was studying law.
Mm,
And I got very, as you can imagine, burnt out. But I didn't realize how burnt out I was until my body forced me to rest, forced me to heal. There were a series of health journeys, one of which was eye-opening, to say the least. I lost the eyesight in my left eye for a good portion of the year
just
that
gone.
forced me to rest. Gone. I had a blood clot in the retinal vein
Wow.
between, yeah, after the lens, so between the eye and the brain. And the clot, the damage created vision impairment. So much so that we weren't sure if my eyesight would come back. And I was diagnosed with low vision. I had to fight in law school for accommodations because I literally couldn't see the board, what was on the screen.
Mm,
As I was writing, I needed more time. I needed serious accommodations for my disability that was invisible
yeah.
to others.
Hmm.
That was a life-changing initiation into, hey, if you don't rest, if you don't value your recovery, if you don't value your replenishment, there will be no you to replenish.
Mm,
No matter when I talk about that experience, I always get lost in what that felt like, and my resolve to never go back to that time in my life gets stronger. I'll never forget where I was. I'll never forget what it felt like to be without vision. I'll never forget it a couple years later. It's like I can recognize the signs when I'm approaching my limits,
okay.
and I dive deep into my tools to support me and support others to respect my need for rest.